I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I am so excited to be with you. I get the opportunity to introduce you to women that inspire me, women that are making a difference on the planet. And they're just like you and me. I mean, they're people who've had a calling and they've stepped into it. I love that I get to do this. I want to remind you that we are on all the places you can get a podcast. We're on iTunes and iHeart and Spreaker and Amazon, so please subscribe. And we do these every week, and you get to meet extraordinary women that can just invite you into stepping into your extraordinary life. So my guest today is Lori Frisher, and I have known her for quite some time, and she's got an extraordinary story. So let me just read a little bit from her bio, and then we are going to chat. So she was born with a moderate to severe hearing loss and diagnosed as a toddler. Lori worked hard throughout her school years to compensate. She relied on hearing aids and lip reading, an imperfect solution that kept her locked out of family conversations in the car, guessing at what friends found funny at parties, and relying on note takers and tutors to help her understand her teacher in class. She never wanted to draw attention to her disability. She just wanted to fit in and get on with her life. And so she wore long auburn hair loose, which she has beautiful hair, concealing the devices she relied on to gain some limited access to the hearing world. She learned to read social cues and developed a broad friendship network. She excelled in sports, and she was unable to hear the swoosh of a soccer ball landing in the net, the smack of a tennis ball on a racket, or the cheers from the spectators. But she could still revel in the smiles of her teammates when she helped them go to victory. She made it to the University of Hartford, where she played Division I tennis as a walk-on and was later chosen by her peers to deliver a commencement address. Lori, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's such an honor to be in your presence. You're somebody who I've looked up to in the community so much since I moved here 14 years ago. So thank you.
Well, I'm excited that you're here because, a lot of people think that if you have a challenge, a physical challenge, or what's called a disability, that you can't thrive, but you are the antithesis of that thought. I want to talk about what has happened with you with your hearing. And then I want to talk about your business and what you're doing in the world. So tell us a little bit about how you finally got support so that you could hear and speak.
Well, I was really fortunate to grow up with an incredible family. I have a mother who is a teacher. So she was always teaching in the classroom and out of the classroom at home to give me that confidence and build that confidence to become someone who could live my best life. And my father was a collegiate athlete also. So between her teaching and his athletics, I got the best of both of them and their personalities and their drive. And it was something that definitely shaped me as a child to have that confidence, to be mainstreamed. I was very fortunate to have the help of great teachers. We had to navigate a lot to find the right resources. Back then, the resources weren't there as they are today. So, I had to figure out a lot on my own, and my mom had to figure out a lot on her own. But my father, also being there for me with my athletics and teaching me about business and sales and, through his own experiences being an importer, I got exposed to a lot. And that foundation helped me in my journey. I was also very fortunate to have different types of technology, and always being open to newer technology, which was something that I'm forever blessed for. So, that's really what was the foundation of my life.
Yeah. Well, and I remember when we first met and you were so intentional about finding a way to up level your hearing and your speaking because you knew you had things to do in the world. And I loved that. The commitment was tangible. So I would love, there are two there's implants, yeah, and I would love for you to talk about what they are and how you moved into that realm to be able to get them.
Yes. So, when I moved to Colorado, I had been wearing a hearing aid in my left ear and a cochlear implant in my right ear. And I was fortunate to meet this incredible woman who worked with the company called Envoy, which was just got approval for an FDA device called the Esteem implant. So I became the first in the world to be implanted that device. And it was very risky because it was, an invisible hearing aid and it was just really new on the market. But I am definitely a risk taker. So I said, I'm going for it. And I went for it. I had been really blessed to have that implant for 10 years and along with the cochlear implant in my right ear at the time. And this past February 2020, I had been implanted a cochlear implant to replace the Esteem implant, to join the other implant. So it gave me the ability to hear out of both ears with cochlear implants.
Okay, I just want to interrupt you for a second. Can you tell us what a cochlear implant is for those who don't know?
Yes, so a hearing aid is a device that's internal in the ear and on the outside of the ear. So I'm going to take out my cochlear implant, and this is what a cochlear implant looks like.
Yes.
So when you have a cochlear implant, you lose all your residual hearing. So when you turn the device on, this connects with a magnet that's implanted in your head to produce sound. And the electrical waves of sound come alive. So as I'm talking to you right now, I have no hearing. I'm completely deaf. So when I put the device back in my ear, put the device back in my ear, now I can hear. Wow. So it's amazing that, through these different types of technology, you see the different levels of hearing. So through a cochlear implant, you hear the sound that you wouldn't ordinarily hear, the sound of a bird, the sound of a pin drop, typing at the computer, the sound of water, things that we all take for granted. So hearing all of these sounds through the Esteem implant, now through the cochlear implant, have changed my life forever.
Yeah. Well, that's incredible. And I know you know sign language too, but so I do want to just have a conversation because I actually choreographed a show for Deaf West, which was a deaf theater company in Los Angeles. And there was controversy between the people like, should we get a cochlear implant and should we just live with what we've been given? And so how did you navigate that conversation?
I didn't really face that conversation until I started to get the new technology. And when I decided that I was getting the implant, I actually had a camera crew follow me for 9 weeks. And it ended up being Emmy nominated, the story, thanks to Natalie from the Everyday Show here. She had featured it, and it was controversial because people were like, why do you want to hear more? enjoying the deaf culture. We don't want the deaf culture to shrink.
Yeah.
And I said, for me, everybody has a choice. And in the deaf culture, it's a beautiful culture. I'm learning about it still and navigating through it still. Um, there are people who are used to that. All they know is the silent world, and that's what's comfortable for them. And I respect that. But I feel that personally, it's been, for me, I've gotten a lot of great opportunities through hearing that have allowed me to excel in my sports, allowed me to excel in my career, in my relationships, and in my work. So, for me, I feel that it's been a positive thing in my life. And I think it's just about working together with the silent world of people who are deaf, and there are different degrees of deafness.
Mhm.
I just did an event at the Clayton Hotel here in Cherry Creek, and having gone through the pandemic, I had lost my ability to speak, and I didn't have the luxury of seeing people's lips because of the mask and hearing. So I really got a good taste of what it was like not to hear and speak. And I decided that I was going to do this event that was called Sip and Sign. And I had some interpreters there who were phenomenal, and different degrees of interpreters. I had a woman who was a child of two deaf parents. I had the first deaf contestant of Survivor. She was one of my interpreters. And then I had two professional interpreters from a company that supports deaf culture. And um, it was very interesting to see the reaction of people being so open to learning sign, the mainstream. And people were so excited, they wanted more. They were like, coffee, black, black, milk, and martinis. Everyone was getting so excited, and it was all about community. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, well, it is. And a friend of mine was nominated for an Oscar this year named Paul Racy, and his parents were both deaf, and he's done an enormous amount in the deaf community, and also being an actor. And so I think what you're talking about is amazing. It's like, first of all, knowledge is power. If we learn, then we get to understand the commonalities and the similarities that we have. But the other part is that, what you said is important. We all get to choose what's right for you, what supports you, what uplifts you and nurtures you. And I love that about you. I love that you've been very clear about choosing you, about choosing what supports you. I want to talk about this business that you've got because it's extraordinary what you are doing. Um, and I would love to know, what you had to deal with to create it with everything that's been going on in your life.
Well, Top Shelf Baskets was created in 2019. I decided to leave corporate America, which was a huge step for me. And, I had my own frustrations, many, in accommodations being met for me in the corporate climate. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take a leap of faith. I have a family who's been involved in the importing business of baskets and novelty items. And I've had experience working with my father and building this business back in New York. And the challenge of getting the doors slammed on me and knocked down and having to fall and get back up. And, I think salespeople, just encounter that in general. So I was no different there. But, I've been knocked down so many times, and I just love a challenge. So I created this business, and the business was built with the mindset that it's all about relationship building and being authentic in your relationships. You know, we're all so caught up in selling an item. So I created this vessel that was filled with love and gratitude. And what I was doing was not just throwing items in it for you to receive this basket that just had items that you'd either put, you know, on the side and never look at and never appreciate. I wanted something that was going to get people talking. So we came up with these storytelling baskets, which were built to take five things about a person and build the story about the person in the basket. So when that recipient got the basket, they were like, wow, Cynthia, you really paid attention to my likes and my desires, and God, you really listened to me and touched my heart. And I, I cried and I laughed and I couldn't put it down. And what happens is that top shelf is top shelf, but makes people feel like they are top shelf and that they are getting a gift that is really about connection. So I'm so proud of it. And coming back in fourth quarter after the pandemic, really fierce, and I'm very excited. And I love that kind of work.
It's awesome. And do you ship all over the country?
I do, and you know, I love to even personalize gifts from the area of where someone is from. So it could be locally sourced in that area too.
Beautiful. Well, that is so exciting, and you just inspire my heart, and your commitment and the way in which you show up is extraordinary. I want you to please tell people, how do they find you? How do they get to Top Shelf? How do they learn more about you?
Well, I do have a website called topshelfbaskets.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, which is at Top Shelf Baskets. And I just, believe it or not, started on TikTok, and just started putting some videos up on TikTok and kind of getting used to all this social media technology. So it's really exciting. And like I said, you know, coming back from a really tough year and pandemic and my health, and I'm just ready to make this a really memorable season for everybody.
Well, I stand with you. I'm so excited for you, and I'm so excited for the people that you serve. So I ask one last question, the same last question of every guest. And the question is, what is the one thing you want women to know about the importance of awakening?
You know, it's really interesting. You know, we all don't want to be alone, right? But you know, there's somebody who I look up to, who's in sales. I don't know if you know of her, Sarah Blakely, who founded Spanx. You know, she was, you know, starting from the ground zero and just exploded and had that tenacity, you know, and perseverance to keep going. You know, she said something, and I had wrote it down because it's something I look at frequently, and it's something I want to share with these women who are in your world and beyond. And I think it speaks to all women, is embrace what you don't know, especially in the beginning. Because what you don't know is you can become your greatest asset. It ensures that you will absolutely be doing things different from everybody else. And be you. be your own person, because that's where love comes from. And I am so proud of like so many women going out there and being their best. And everyone can be their best, but we have to collectively be our best. And I've learned that through my recent work and getting back into diversity, equity, inclusion, opportunity. We're all different, but we're all beautiful people. So, that's what I want to leave with. So I
Oh,
I
well,
love helping people. So
I
I've
love
been
that.
helping, I've been given opportunities, and this is actually my first podcast. So thank you.
Oh, how wonderful. I love that I get to be your first. And I love what you said, embrace what you don't know. Because what you don't know will open doorways and portals to unimaginable things. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do for women and this community. You're a blessing.
Thank you. So, ladies, please come back. Like I said, we do this every week. And please subscribe so that you can know when new things are coming in. And this is what I want to say to you. I want to leave you with this. You are an original, powerful, dynamic, mighty expression. You are divine. You are so needed and so necessary on this planet. Whatever gifts you have, only you can deliver them the way that you can deliver them. So take the examples of the women that I share with you and really step into your greatness. And it doesn't mean you have to be an Oprah, and it doesn't mean you have to be an Olympic star. What it means is you just be the best you possible. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.